I don't know when this toxic masculinity thing first cropped up. It was obviously invented by some feminazi bitch, some lying man hater. But I thought, unusually for me, I'd look it up on Wikipedia, see what their definition is of toxic masculinity. And apparently it's the concept of toxic masculinity is used in the social sciences. Well, first of all, there's nothing scientific about these people, and they're not social either. They're feminist cunts, they're SJW cunts, and they're Marxist. Cut a long story short, they're cunts. Anyway, I'll start again. The concept of toxic masculinity is used in the social sciences to describe certain standards of behaviour among men in contemporary American and European society that encourage domination of others, devaluation of women, and emotional stoicism. So it's only in America and Europe, predominantly white countries. Now, they don't say that the black guys don't indulge in this as well. But if these social scientists are suggesting that black guys in American and European societies are guilty of toxic masculinity, does that mean that the men in African countries aren't? And that men in the Middle East, they don't suffer from toxic masculinity. Women have it fine there. There's no devaluation of women in Muslim countries, because it would appear from this description that the social scientists here aren't remotely interested in the genuine devaluation of women in the Middle East, as opposed to the elevation of women in the West, where women are treated as if they're the queen of fucking Sheba, and where men are devaluated in adverts, comedies, daytime TV, soap operas, dramas, films, by politicians, and literally countless numbers of articles in newspapers written by man-hating fucking bitches. I was going to pick out a particular article claiming that toxic masculinity is to blame for all sorts of bloody things. I found this newspaper article. I could have found absolutely loads. But let's get to toxic femininity and toxic feminism, which is far, far more dangerous than any of this pie-in-the-sky toxic masculinity. Toxic feminism, I suppose it plays itself out in the divorce courts, where women get absolutely everything. It plays out in the false accusations women make of domestic violence, paedophilia, of the false claims they make on college campuses of rape. Every major case is shown to be fake. I'm going to stick some links down in the comments section. I'm going to try and keep this one brief. I'm going to put some links in the comment section. I'll put a comment down and pin it to the top, and I'll stick a few links there. One's going to be child maltreatment, 2014. This is from I can't remember which US department I got this one from, but if you scroll down to page 46, you'll find that almost 250,000 children were abused by their own natural mother. The natural mother outweighed the natural father when it came to the abuser by almost double. I'm going to leave a children's social work service statistic there that shows the same thing, that the natural mother is around twice as likely to be the known or suspected abuser as the natural father. And I'll leave one referring you to loads of domestic violence surveys, some of which suggest that men are more guilty than women of domestic violence, some of which show the opposite. They actually balance out. When it comes to adult domestic violence, men and women are about as guilty as each other. And I've been studying this subject on and off for quite a long time now. But child abuse, the surveys are always the same. They always, I'll give you another example. Home Office statistics here in the UK show that there are more women prosecuted every single year for child abuse and child neglect than there are men, and there are far more women cautioned by the police. They should be in court. They're cautioned, then they end up in court. then they're in jail, and sometimes they end up killing the children. But violent women are protected, i.e. toxic women, toxic femininity is protected by toxic feminists right throughout society. We live in throughout the Western world. Isn't it ironic that where women have been given more rights than men in the United States and throughout Europe, that the more fucking rights they get, the more they fucking complain and the more they attack men, the more they attack their own and each other's fathers, uncles, brothers, sons, worst of all their sons, their husbands obviously they fucking hate, and they can't even see this. You shove it in front of their faces and still only a minority of women can see that that's what these bitches in the media and in politics are doing. They're the toxic ones. And I'm not going to leave a link to this. You can find it yourself. You go to the Bureau of Justice and look for sexual victimization, juvenile facilities. Look at the 2008 to 2009 statistics. They show that 95% of sexual abuse of children, most of them boys, the vast majority, in juvenile facilities was committed by female members of staff, even though they only represented 42% of staff members. And in some of these facilities, the rape rate, or the abuse rate, was 36%. Absolutely outrageous. Media releases were put out by the Bureau of Justice, and they were completely ignored by the entire mainstream media. And yet, if there's something about male guards grope women in female prisons, there's demands for male guards to be eliminated from female prisons altogether. You can see how I'm just doing this as briefly as I can, but you can see that it's the media. They are evil. They are the ones that promote all this. I don't give a shit whether feminist groups or individual feminists come up with this evil and these lies about toxic masculinity. The fact that feminists are still alive is due to the fact that men are by nature programmed to protect and provide for women. Because if these bitches were men and they'd launch this kind of a hate campaign against men, they'd already be fucking dead, and women would be being treated like fucking shit, like they lived in fucking Saudi Arabia, rather than the spoilt Western world where they're so fucking full of themselves and they believe in all this bullshit with manspreading and mansplaining and all the rest of that shit. Right, now I've lost my fucking temper. Thank you, women. Thank you, feminists. Anyway, thank you very much if you've got this far.